Pluto and Neptune goes a long time, but it has nothing to do.
We have the Metonic cycle.
Was he in 4 BC
and
or was he 4 BC?
The Metonic, that was let's see, where did I find that here?
You mentioned it, and I just.
I think it was
300 something.
432 BC. Now his cycle was about 19 years. So the Saros cycle is about 18 years and 11 days and a third. The Metonic cycle, 19 years. The cycle of the nodes is 19 and a half years. The lunar nodal cycle.
Lunar nodal is how long?
About 19 and a half years.
Okay.
I believe that's correct.
That goes, in other words, going through all the signs, right? The nodal, the lunar node.
And the node always moves in retrograde motion. In 18 years and 11 days, that is a Saros cycle, the node regresses 349 degrees. Hence, in that period, at a point 11 degrees in advance, an eclipse or a series of eclipses recurs under similar conditions. And so we have this Saros cycle relating to the cycle of the lunar nodes. And what it does is give us a linkage between certain eclipses. So the recommendation is, as we look at an eclipse, we want to identify what was the Saros cycle involved. We can find, for eclipses in the 20th century, Jansky's notes on the Saros cycles. We can also look at a book by Fred Espenak, E-S-P-E-N-A-K, published by NASA, 50-year Canon of Solar Eclipses from 1986 to 2035. And it will note as well the Saros series.
Oh, so they use that.
The astronomers use the Saros series to determine the dates of eclipses.
Interesting. These were all astrologers who attributed.
Well, back in 400 BC, there was no difference between an astrologer and an astronomer.
There was an astrologer. That's right.
Exactly.
And today, astronomers found astrology.
Okay. Now, I need to refresh my memory here, but as I recall, the notation does not quite coincide here, because they use a different kind of notation as to the numbering of the Saros cycle. So you can't use Jansky and then switch over to the NASA series and expect it to transfer exactly. And at any rate, it's not our concern here to get, too carried away with exactly how to calculate eclipses. Fortunately, we have other people who've done that for us and put them in books like the Canon of Eclipses, and we have good computer programs that can do the same thing. But I think it's fun to get a little bit of understanding from a background perspective as to how eclipses work and what's involved in that whole process. And as we begin to see the repetition in the patterns of eclipses, then it can help us understand the phenomenon a little bit better. So we want to note the Saros series. And what happens here is that I'll look up eclipses in the Saros series, the previous eclipses in that same series. In and of itself,